This game calls for me to break out the coonskin cap. That's right. I don't have a ponytail and I haven't grown hair. I have my coonskin cap on to celebrate the Mountaineer victory, 76-73, over the Texas Longhorns in the first Big 12 win of the season for Josh Eilert and his team. The first time West Virginia has beaten Texas in Morgantown since 2010. I had no idea that was a thing, but it is. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. I am Couz.
And my name is Mountaineer Paul.
And we present to you a post-game edition of
Hoops from the Hills, baby.
That's right, baby. We are here live. Finally, a game we can come on here and talk positively about. A game the West Virginia did not squander in the last seconds, did not lose, did not get blown out. They actually pulled it off, and against a good opponent in Texas. Really excited about this one, Paul. Before we get started, let's go ahead and shout out our sponsor and get the get that out of the way. And that's right, baby. Let's do it.
This episode of Hoops from the Hills is brought to you by Dutch Miller Automotive, where friends and family pricing means you get the best deal right up front on any new or pre-loved vehicle in stock every time.
With brands like Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Kia, Hyundai, Ford, GMC, Buick, and Subaru, the Dutch Miller Automotive family is always growing and ready to put you in the car or truck you've been searching for.
Check out our inventory across West Virginia at DutchMillerAuto.com, or you can come in today to the home of friends and family pricing, only at a Dutch Miller Automotive store near you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are, for the first time ever, we are also broadcasting live on the Hoops from the Hills Twitter page. For any of you who may be joining us there, welcome aboard. And obviously, for those of you who are joining us on YouTube, we thank you. For those of you who are on Twitter, if you haven't yet, come check us out on YouTube as well. Come subscribe to us here at Hoops from the Hills. We cover West Virginia Mountaineer basketball. Before we get too far into the conversation about the guys, I want to give a shout out to the West Virginia women's team. They also had a Big 12 victory today over UCF. And J.J. Quinterly got her 1,000 points today in her college career. So congratulations to the Mountaineer women's team and to J.J. Quinterly on achieving that milestone. This women's team doing some big things and has a chance to be really special, in my opinion, this year. So wanted to give them a shout out here since we are a basketball show. But let's go ahead and talk about this men's game, Paul. A big game, much needed victory for Josh Eilert and his staff. What are your initial thoughts, man?
Two things. First of all, we go to overtime. I'm glad we don't have to face A-Smith in overtime.
Yeah, really.
He landed in the zone. We've seen a couple of players do that. Embiid did that to us a few years ago, where he just wouldn't miss a shot. Didn't matter where it was on the floor. Obviously, in the NBA, you see players do it every night. They get into the zone where they just get into that rhythm where they don't miss. And he was definitely in that kind of zone, tonight. And Patty Sue, who I really beat the drum for quite a while, at least his first year in Morgantown, it really looked like it was not going to work out for him in Morgantown. It really did. I mean, looked like he was going to have a very uneventful career in Morgantown. And I'll tell you what, man, this situation has brought out the best in him. And I'm not shocked, because you go turn on the film and watch his junior college film. He's shown the ability to do everything he's doing right now, only against lesser competition. Mm-hmm. And I guess that was always going to be the thing I was going to, blame it on, had he not ever amounted to anything, was that the competition just was too strong at this level for him, because he did it he's done this before.
Right.
He also he's got a 3-point ball that I haven't seen him really pull out a whole lot yet that he had in junior college. And I'm talking about a smooth one too, but he's put on a lot of muscle, so that could be a lot reason for that.
Absolutely.
He had a double W, by the way, and I posted that on our Hoops from the Hills Twitter account, which if you're watching this there, or if you're able to go to Hoops from the Hills, our Twitter account there, you'll see that I said that he has a double W tonight, because not only did he win, in my opinion, player of the game, he also refused to eat the ESPN Plus interview after the game.
Did he really?
It's kind of sticky. Yeah.
Really?
He said he wanted to celebrate with his teammates instead.
Wow.
Double W, Patty Sue. Proud of you for that, my dude.
Absolutely, that's pretty cool.
Mountaineer fans showed up, and I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
lie, I thought that people would be a little apathetic at this point. The weather is really bad. I mean, we're
Yeah.
expecting a snowstorm where I'm at. So I know it's cold. It'll cut you in two out there. But it's really not a big deal to most West Virginians. But and they showed up for this game. It was a really, really good atmosphere. It's Texas. The SEC chants at the end were mwah. Love that
Loved
too.
it.
But at the end of the day, Josh Eilert finally showing off some coaching chops today, in my opinion. Really drew up some nice plays on the sidelines, using advent. I think things are slowing down for him a little bit on the
Mm-hmm.
sidelines. He used some substitutions uh, to his benefit
Yep.
today. He was able to use a review to his benefit at the end of the game to draw up a play that really, really was beautifully well done,
Yep.
where they use the inbounder to get the
Mm-hmm.
ball in. That was a great, great play, and that was Josh Eilert on the sideline doing that under pressure against a top 25 team. That was really nice to see. And then obviously RaeQuan and those guys, man, they continue to seem to get a little bit more chemistry, and obviously they shored up some defense. And listen, all rebounding defense it's 75% effort. Sometimes a guy like Azus comes along and there's really nothing you can do. There's nobody in our team that can guard him when he's doing that. It's just not going to happen. You can make it more difficult, but he's going to make the difficult shots. This team can win ball games with this kind of effort and defense.
Absolutely, they can.
Oh, and by the
Absolutely.
way, real quick, my stand is I left my stand, guys. So I left it at my mom's. So apologies for that.
Yeah,
I
that's
always try
okay,
to
Paul.
stay ready in case news breaks.
No, he's just having to hold his phone in his hand. So if he's a little bit shaky or whatever, but I don't. Hey, we don't care, man. We just won the game. Right?
Yeah.
That's what matters. Um, got a lot of people coming in here. Want to thank you guys for coming in, watching us do our live our post game show. If you want to make sure your comment gets seen, you can drop a super chat. It's a way to donate to the channel, help us out here, and also get your comment highlighted. It gets it moved into a separate category. It also highlights it for us to make sure we see it. And we'll be sure to read your comment if you drop a super chat. Anyway, what I want to do is share the team stats, and there are some that I think Mountaineer fans are going to want to see because I kind of glanced at them real quick as you were talking, Paul. But there's a couple that really stand out. Try to get this. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Let's see. All right. When you look at it right here, obviously field goal percentage was pretty close, 45 for Texas, 44.7 for West Virginia. 3-point shooting, Texas was 9 for 22. West Virginia was 7 of 17. Both teams shot it well from three. Kerr Kriisa hit some much-needed threes for the Mountaineers in the first half of this game, especially. Free throw shooting, 16 of 21 for Texas, 27 of 41 for West Virginia. My gosh, 41 free throws. That's a lot. And I think they needed to do that, though, to help to win this game. They needed to get to the free throw line, and they were able to do that. Here's a stat I want to focus on right here. Look at the rebounding. West Virginia out-rebounds Texas 32-31, and this is without Jesse Edwards, the team's best rebounder by a long shot. 32-31 rebounding advantage, including a 10-9 advantage on the offensive glass. Just shout out to this team for the effort, the hustle, the work they did on the boards in this game. The two things they need to improve on that Paul mentioned earlier, rebounding and defense, that's one of them. And let's scroll down here and go ahead and look at total turnovers. Speaking of defense, West Virginia forces 22 turnovers on the Longhorns, 22 turnovers, and got 15 points off of those turnovers. Now, the negative to that is they turned it over 16 times themselves. They need to clean that up. And Texas was able to get 18 points off turnovers, but it ended up not hurting the Mountaineers in this game. But anyway, Paul, anything there that stands out to you other than the rebounding, obviously?
Well, considering the run that Asmus went on at the end of the game with 3-pointers, think about what that was before he made 4 in a row or 5 in a row at the end of the game for Texas, 3-pointers. And really they played bad. I mean, I don't want to make excuses for our win or put anything on it, but teams that are better than us are going to have to play not A-plus level for us to win right now, without Jesse especially. And that's what happened in this game. So I'm saying that so that we all don't, you know, I think we can win games in this conference, and I think it's possible that we get back to 500 at some point. I really do. But we do need to kind of put a little bit of the brakes on. If anybody, I see a few people say we're going to go on a big run here. And I think I need to see a couple more games sustained at this pace and level before I go on to saying, like, okay, we got a chance to finish this season out. You know, how many games we got left?
So we played, this would have been number 26. So we got, no, that's wrong. I mean, not 26, 16. So we've got
Right.
what, 10 games left, something like that? No, we got 16 games left, or 15, right. 15 left. Sorry.
15 left. That's what I thought. Okay. 12-3 down the stretch. So
that's not my strong suit.
You know,
don't ask me to do math live on air.
Right. I mean, I just thought maybe you could have pulled it up and clicked on the WB right there.
I'm just teasing, man.
Right. But at the end of the day, we won the game, and I'm really glad for that. It doesn't get any easier in this conference, and thankfully, you don't play Houston every week.
Yeah, really. You guys, don't forget, please hit the like button if you haven't yet. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to us here at Hoops from the Hills. We're trying to get our subscriber numbers up. We're one of the only channels out there covering strictly West Virginia Mountaineer basketball. We do cover a little bit of Big 12 stuff too, if some big news breaks or something. Don't forget, if you're live in the chat, drop a comment. Again, if you want to make sure your chat gets seen, you can drop a super chat by hitting the $sign near the chat box. And then if you're watching this on the replay, comments still help there too. Helps that YouTube algorithm, helps get our video pushed out to more people. And obviously, don't forget to follow us if you're watching on X. Follow this channel here at Hoops from the Hills. You can also follow our personal channels at Paul Mountaineer and at Couz 206. But anyway, I was really, Pat Suemnick obviously came up big. I was really happy to see. I really like the substitution there at the end. The offense-defense substitution Eilert was doing with Kobe and with RaeQuan. I thought that was also a very smart move he did there. Obviously, Kobe's arguably, I don't even know if it's arguable, but he's our best defender on the perimeter, and having him in the game there, not sure if it mattered because Asmus was still draining three-pointers, but nonetheless, he gave us the best chance on that end of the court. But you've got to have RaeQuan in the game when it comes to offense, right? You cannot afford to have him off the court. So I thought that was a very smart move there.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
We were flirting with overtime, so we couldn't afford definitely to let Battle get that last foul.
Right. That's a great point too. Y'all know that's a good point too. And just another reason. Well, and that might be the key reason he was doing it. But I thought it was smart anyway because I think Kobe's a better defender than RaeQuan is.
Noah is starting to becoming that conversation as far as straight up steals, passing lanes.
Yes, that's a great point. I noticed that too. He did a great job, I thought, putting ball pressure on the opposing point guard tonight. And I was really pleased with how he played. We're going to look at individual stats in just a minute, so we'll get a chance to see how that stacked up. But I want to give a shout out real quick to Jacob Yoho. Thank you for the super chat, Jacob. He says TCU just beat Houston. And Pat MVP. Pat definitely MVP. It's Big 12 basketball, man. Anybody can beat anybody on any given night. That's what makes this conference so daggone fun, man. But yeah. Go ahead.
It's wild, man.
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking, didn't TCU just beat somebody else? Was it the day before, a few days ago too? That was.
I think so.
Really good. Might have been Kansas. I can't remember off the top of my head, but don't forget who coaches them. And he's somebody that always kind of scared me when he was at Pitt, Jamie Dixon.
Mm-hmm.
Just the style of ball he plays, the style of athletes he recruits are very similar to what Hugs did, and that's how they play. They're a real physical, rebounding kind of team. But I agree, Timothy. They did have a lot more hustle tonight. I agree, Earth Ether, about a cook in the end
Yeah.
with that pick knocking old boy down and the roll to the to the dunk. That was so sweet.
Yeah, it was sweet. It was sweet. Props to him. He played a good game tonight, I thought. It may not, some of the stuff he does doesn't always show up on the stat sheet either. But he did a really good job. I know on one possession there near the end, did a really good job defensively. Kept his feet, didn't let the guy get by him, and was able to force a jump shot and get his hand in the guy's face and force a miss, which led to a West Virginia transition. I don't remember if West Virginia scored on that transition bucket, but nonetheless, it was a critical stop there near the end of the game. But obviously, Suemnick 16-6. You've got Kerr with 14 points, and 2 assists, 4 rebounds. Was 4 of 10. I'm sorry, 4 of 8 from 3, 4 of 10 from the court, from the floor. RaeQuan had 14 with 4 boards. Look, coming off the bench, Quinn Slazinski tonight had a really nice game tonight. 13 points, 2 of 3 from behind the arc, 2 rebounds. And then Noah Farrakhan had 5 points, 2 assists, 7 rebounds. This is a guy who's 6'1" and weighs like $160, $170. And he pulled down 7 boards. Just impressive. He continues to be one of the best rebounders on the team.
Yeah. It's 75% want to. It truly is. It's all about just making the effort.
Yep. He also had a steal. I thought he did. I remember him having a steal there. Seth Wilson came off the bench and got 2 steals tonight. Need to give that a shout out. Quinn with a couple steals. RaeQuan with 2 steals. Kobe with a steal. Pat and Josiah both had steals as well. So just a really good all-around team performance tonight, I thought, by this group. And I'm so happy for Josh Eilert, man, and this staff and these guys. You could tell, you could see it in their face, the joy of finally getting that monkey off their back and getting this win tonight. You know, I'm so happy for them, man.
Agreed.
Obviously for Texas, let me shrink this a little bit. With Texas, you got obviously Asmus with 32 points. Dessou was hurting West Virginia inside a lot tonight. Him fouling out was big in this game, I thought. He had 18 and 6.
Down the stretch, you're right, man.
Yeah. Those are the only 2 guys in double digits. You had Mitchell had 8 and 4. But really, those were the 2 guys that really the only 2 guys I thought to hurt West Virginia were Asmus and Dessou. Because West Virginia really didn't have anybody to match up with Dessou physically. But they did have, somebody did a good job. But I mean, Dessou's just such a big, strong guy. He's able to push people around down there, Trey, great point, my man. They don't win it without Suemnick tonight. Pat Suemnick, man, to see him step his game up and the way he's played lately is just it's it's good to see, man. I know Paul called that a while back, by the way.
Like over a year ago, yeah. But I mean, obviously, I had kind of given up on him a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because it had been, how long did he sit on the bench? A year and a half or whatever it's been.
Yeah.
And so I really thought, well, maybe he's not going to work out at West Virginia at the Big 12 level. And I love that kid coming out. I really did. I thought he was going to be good from the beginning. So It's been a long wait to see him finally come on, but he showed signs. And listen, he's got a lot of hate since he's been here. There have been people saying he don't deserve to be at this level. There have been people big time. I've even seen Voice of Morgantown put a thing about him. He's got a large audience that sees it, saying that he's no good before. Like a lot of people have.
Yeah.
So it just is what it is. He's proven everybody wrong. I love to see that, man. Similarly, though, on the reverse side of things, one thing that kind of does suck to see is Nave and up until this game, possibly Slazinski, had kind of had their growth stunted a little bit by this influx of, talent and the chemistry issues that have come as a result. if you remember, Ofri was really coming on there right before those three guys came back. I mean, what do you have?
Right.
Like he had couple double figure games. Now, part of that was it was necessity, but he was really coming on, and I would love to see them figure out a way to get him mixed back into all this because he's really fallen off.
Yeah, he has, man. But I mean, he just, you and I've talked about this even on the show before. Physically, I don't think he was really ready for Big 12.
No,
He can do it from an intelligent. He's has a very high basketball IQ, and he's very skilled. But he just physically wasn't ready. I think he was kind of being forced to play. Now he was playing pretty well. He had some good games, but he was a big mismatch in my opinion on the defensive end. Guys were just backing him down and pushing him around. But I really hope he sticks around with this team, whether Eilert leaves or stays or whatever, because I think his future's bright, and I think I think he's going to be a really good basketball player. I'm really high on him. I really am. I think he's got a really bright future. But I just think with this team now that we have, you can't play him over. You can't play him over RaeQuan. You can't play him over Noah. You know, I don't even think you play him over Josiah Harris. Maybe you can, but Josiah is one of the few guys we got on the team that's a solid rebounder, really. So that you need him for his rebounding ability. So I don't know, man. I love the kid, and I do think he's going to be a good player for us, though. Timothy Green, I got something for you, my man. Hold on.
shameful. He's shameful. He has no shame, Timothy. None.
Bills Mafia, baby.
None.
There we go. There we go, Browns and Beers.
And
you
look
know
at
what's
the color
up.
of his shirt. Look at the color of his shirt.
That shirt says West Virginia on it, not Pittsburgh. Tim Browns and Beers knows what's up. Yeah, but how about that alley-oop dunk, by the way? How about that lob from Kerr to RaeQuan? Have we not been waiting all year to see that? I about came out of my chair, and then I had to rewind it and watch it again. Man, that was awesome. Timothy's crying or laughing. I don't know what he's doing.
You got a snowflake in there, even.
Yeah, he's even got a snowflake. Speaking of snowflakes, they got a few of those in Buffalo right now. And in Kansas City, where they're playing in minus 30 degree wind chills. That's a little ridiculous, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I think T.J. Watt put out a pretty nice post on that today.
What'd it say?
He said, the stadium has been closed down in Kansas City how many times over the last few years because of weather?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, do you want the elements to be a part of the game or not?
Yeah.
True. It's a legitimate question to ask.
Well, but it is, and I think they were more concerned about the safety of the fans more so than anything.
Maybe, right.
And in Buffalo, I don't know that it was a snow as much as it was. They had 45 mile an hour wind gusts along with that snow, man. I mean, it's blizzard conditions almost,
Yeah, it's 12
I don't know.
Right there.
I see it both sides of the argument, but only thing that worries me is by playing on Monday, whether it be the Steelers or the Bills, if they win, how much of a disadvantage are they going to be at going into the next week? I don't know. We'll see.
Personally, though, I think. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry about
Go. No, you're going. I think you're going to answer the question. Go ahead.
I think it's going to be what Pat does, but better. I mean, listen, I love Pat, but I don't think he's better than Jesse is. Now, if Jesse's still hurt in some way, that would affect it. But Jesse pretty much can do everything Pat can. They're just different players, though, so it's not. I mean, Pat's tougher, in my opinion. He's a tougher player. He's got more toughness about his game, and there is something to be said for that. And maybe it's setting a tone for this team right now that I'm not playing into this decision a bit. But I do think Jesse brings things to the table, obviously, that Pat don't, just from the size, athleticism, rim protection standpoint. And it's something we really need. Now, I do think we should consider starting both of them, and I hope they do, or at least playing them both at the same time. the rebounding, rim protection, and toughness you'll get out of that. You've also got two guys that have proven now that they can score on the block. Surround those guys with three shooters, and you've got something going. I think we'll see that now in different combinations, and maybe we'll get Jesse alone, and then we'll get a Cook and Pat to spell him at the same time. Or maybe now they have three bigs they feel like they can count on, and they play them all singularly at the same, at different points. It could all work, but I do think we need, for rebounding purposes, any combination of those two on the floor at any given time, preferably. Defense too for that, but I think the team will be fine when Jesse comes back. That's he's the one guy that's been here the whole year, so he's one of the only ones that didn't get suspended. So I think he'll probably slide back in easier than the other guys who waited 9+ games to play.
Yeah. Great point. Earth Ether, man, I understand. You're the only person that doesn't think that's a nice play. I mean, even the announcers were talking about how nice of a play it was. I don't know that I've ever seen it. Huh?
What, the handoff back to the inbounder?
Yeah. There was more to it than
but
that.
It's just that the pressure situation. It's a pressure situation. It's not like that's the only play in any inbounds, playbook. So
I got you.
It's got to be the right. It's got to be the right call for the right situation, right? Based on what they were doing pressure-wise. And this is the first-year head coach that has lost 3 games in a row, that has lost over 2-8 in his last 10. He's probably not going to get his job back next year. And there's a lot riding on this, man. So it's more than just an inbounds call to me. It's, you make the wrong call there. If they got the ball, if they got a steal or a possession ahead of us at any point, I don't know if we win the game or not. Asmus wasn't going to miss, man. I really believe that. I think he was in that zone. So to me, it was a great call. It was a great play. Just because other teams have it doesn't mean it's not a great call. It's almost like saying spider 2 wide banana. Every team in the league runs it, right? John Gruden talks about it all the time, but there's a good time to pull that play out.
Yeah, agreed. And I think we misunderstood Earth Ether there. He's clarified his comment. He said he was just trying to say, he said he thought it was a great play. He was just trying to bring out the point that it wasn't an unusual play. And I totally misinterpreted his comment. So that's my fault.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But anyway, I thought he was being negative.
Yeah.
No, Trey, I still don't think they're a tournament team yet. We got to. I mean, they're going to have to. I mean, they basically have to win. They basically have to go 10-5 down the stretch. Yeah, 10-5 down the stretch to even have a shot to get in. If not better than that, without winning the Big 12 tournament, and we all know how tough that is to do.
I think we need to focus on getting 500 first, and see where we're at then.
I just want to enjoy one game at a time, man. That's all. Just one game at a time.
I mean, if I'm Josh Eilert, that's what I'm thinking about.
Correct.
Get to 500.
500. Yep. I'm with you, Paul. 500. If we get to 500, considering where we are now, that'd be a big momentum swing and a big boost to confidence.
Yeah.
And it would make the fan base feel a lot better about things, in my opinion.
Right. But I mean, certainly you could do that in the next 4 games. It's possible.
Yeah, absolutely, it's possible. Got another super chat from Jacob. He says, "Do you guys know anything on Nelson?" I don't, man. I'm actually going to try to do some research on him. I had heard, I think I remember Coach Brown mentioning in a press conference one time, maybe, that how good of a basketball player Nelson was. But I really, beyond that, I didn't know anything. It's kind of a surprising.
Nelson out of Kentucky?
Yes. He's on the team.
The basketball team?
Yeah. Did you miss that today?
I did.
Yeah, he's on the roster now. They actually showed him during the game multiple times. But if you don't know who it is, you wouldn't have known that. So, but yeah, he's on the roster now on the basketball team, and he's only 6'1", so I'm just trying to figure out what the motivation was to add him to the roster, and it's a little bit of a head scratcher there, but there has to be a legit reason.
it could be just kind of like, what, it could be a practice player, right? I mean, he could be
Right.
somebody that they go against.
That's exactly what the announcer said. Could be somebody for them to play against at practice. But like the announcer said, they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't add that type of player at this point in the season if it wasn't bringing value. They're not going to do it just to do it.
Right. To be honest, I would have probably done a little bit more research on that. I mean, I know all about his football tape.
Yeah,
You don't know
I
about
do
that?
too. Yeah, we may even do a video on it or something and throw it up on this channel here about him, what he brings to the team from a basketball perspective. Maybe,
Yeah, it won't take
but
long.
one or
I've
both of us might be
actually,
able to do that.
well, I've got him. I've got him in my inbox. I mean, it's from a long time ago, but he might still
Yeah,
respond, Couz.
he
From
may.
like it's from when he committed. Maybe he'll let me know what he can do. We can maybe have him on.
Yeah, and
Anyway, getting ahead of myself.
yeah, I'd at least like to go watch some tape. I haven't even watched tape on him yet. I wasn't every highlight I found was a football highlight online, so I'm gonna have to do some digging, I guess. Got 90 people on here, guys. If you want get your comment read, be sure to hit the $sign. There's no way possible for us to see every single comment in here. So if you want to make sure yours gets read on the air, hit the $sign, post your comment there in the chat box along with the $sign. It highlights it. Make sure we see it. We will put it on the screen, and be sure to read it out loud and answer your question or respond to your comment. In the meantime, we'll try to address a few of these comments. Yeah, he's 6'1" Earth Ether, so he's definitely a guard. Yeah, a lot of fans thought the same thing, Anthony. We thought Gallagher would be the guy that would get that call, not Nelson. Yeah, he played for a high school championship team in Kentucky. Great point. Winning fixes everything. Timothy, that's a great comment, man. He says winning fixes everything. It really helps the morale and the attitude of the fan base as well. Great comment. These guys can now, like I said earlier, and it's funny, they're on this streak. They win 3. They win 1, lose 3, win 1, lose 3, win 1. Now, can they avoid the 3-game slide that they've been on? That's the
Yeah.
Can they buck this trend and turn around and win another game? That's going to be the question. I haven't even looked at see who they play next, to be honest. That's how I'm taking this one game at a time. I'm not even looking ahead on the schedule.
Guys, we would appreciate if you would just, before you get done with this tonight, to just, if you're watching it in the chat, you can exit off the chat and hit that like button for us. 7's not going to be enough for this video to get much exposure. We don't beg for a lot of money or nothing like that, but if you could hit the like button, man, to a content creator, it does mean a ton. So just wanted to throw that out there. 7 likes ain't a whole lot. So if you could do that for us, I'd appreciate it.
And to the one person who's watching on Twitter, thank you. We appreciate you. Appreciate you tuning in.
Yeah. Our Hoops in the Hills is new, so
yeah, it's brand new.
So
We just literally started it this week. It's only like a week old, so so we appreciate it.
Is there no way to connect that between all 3 of our channels, like Hoops in the Hills, Mountaineer Paul, and Couz's Corner? Because that's not going to affect the algorithm on YouTube, is it? I don't see why it
wouldn't. No, it's not going to affect the altitude. It would if if this goes up on those channels. It would, yes. Right. But you can always put it on private or something. I don't think it would hurt it then. I don't know.
Yes, John Kelly, I can see your comments, sir.
Yeah.
Did you say something that you needed?
I was going to read this. I was going to read this comment. Let's just enjoy the wins as they come. There was a lot of people there, Trey. Paul mentioned that earlier on in the opening. Very, very good crowd tonight. I was impressed with the crowd. I know from looking at it on television, it looked like a lot of people were there. They were into the game. I think they impacted the game. Very, very impressive for a 5-10 team with the kind of weather we have outside. I was very, very pleased with that crowd tonight. So Mountaineer Nation, you deserve an applause for your attendance and for your impact on the game, for being loud, and for showing who Mountaineer Nation is, man. I thought that was impressive.
Yeah.
Eric, thank you for liking, man. He says he liked us on the way in. Something about somebody made a comment. I don't remember who it was now. Did we think it could be about money for the new guy? Maybe a money play. I'm assuming they're talking about Nelson. I don't really see how money could play a hand in it. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe they're thinking it's an NIL thing. I don't know. What do you think, Paul?
No, I mean, this is a guy that was a 2-star football recruit. So, I mean, now if you're saying could this get him some more exposure, maybe some NIL opportunities, absolutely. But as far as the reason for him being on the court today, no, not much. I would be very surprised.
Yeah. John Kelly says ESPN was a bit pro-Texas tonight on the broad. I kind of noticed that too, John, a little bit. I don't think they were as bad as the crew we had on the last game. The crew we had on the last game was like I thought they were going to go give Jerome Tang a hug in the middle of the game or something. I mean, it was terrible. I thought this crew was a little better than that, at least. Actually, the crew that was there tonight, I didn't think was too awful bad myself, but I really wasn't paying that much attention to that either. Eric, thank you for the super. Oh, sorry. You clicked on it. I clicked off. Says, have you guys ever thought of doing a live thread during a game? Get some other guys in and do a panel like the political creators do. We have considered it and may end up doing it. Here's my challenge. Here's my problem. And Paul knows this all too well. I cannot perform 2 functions at one time and do it well. So if I'm watching the game, I will have to totally ignore you guys, basically. And if I'm talking to you guys, I want to have no clue what's going on in the game because my brain just does not allow me to do that. I'm terrible at it. Paul can tell you. It's anybody that knows me can tell you that.
It's frustrating to deal with, actually.
Why? How does it affect you, brother?
No, just like if I'm trying to talk to you.
Oh yeah.
Something. You will not hear. You won't even hear what I said or anything.
Perfect. Yep.
I have to repeat myself.
That's a great example. And if I'm on the phone with somebody, and let's say my wife or one of my kids sends me a text message, if I'm answering that text message and Paul's talking to me, I will have no clue what he's saying. I just can't. Yeah. I can't do 2 things at once and do them both successfully. But we have considered it, though, Eric, to answer your question. And maybe one of these days we'll do it. If multiple people are on the stream, then it wouldn't be that big a deal for me because the other people could kind of fill the gaps, right? So it wouldn't be that big a deal. Maybe we could do that one of these games, Paul. Give it a shot, see how it works.
Does he make like a live watch along?
Like a watch along, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's actually in the it's in my channel on my football channel for if you remember. I wasn't able to pull it off this year because my setup isn't right for it. So I've been telling people I do plan to do that next year for football.
Yeah, that's a good idea actually for your members. We need it. Yeah. We need to start a membership here probably at some point. We haven't done that yet.
Yeah, I think we're both waiting to try to get to that 2,000, 1,500. Or over. Are we at 1,500?
I don't think so. I think we're at 13. Last I checked.
Yeah. Right.
But Eric, we do appreciate the proposal, the idea, and we definitely will take it into consideration. And probably will end up doing one at some point, man.
Especially if we make the tournament or something, maybe.
Yeah. Here we go, mouth of the mouth. You know, Paul, we're 39 minutes into the show, and there's one thing we have not done yet, man. What is wrong with us? Mouth of the Mountains, thank you for the reminder. Cool name, too, by the way.
Thumbnail?
I didn't make one yet because I was watching the game, and I can't do 2 things at once, remember?
So there's no thumbnail?
Not yet. I figured we would just do it after this is over and throw it up. He says he loved how Pat goes to the TV. I'm going to have to go back and watch that because I didn't see that. As soon as the game was over, I headed to my studio to set this up.
About Pat Suemnick?
Yeah.
Did you
One's
read
down,
that? I
baby.
thought that was really nice.
What's that?
What Jim McArdle said.
Oh, I missed it. Let me go back. In the chat?
Really nice, Jim.
Oh.
I got it pulled up.
Oh. This was the first place I thought to come to get a reaction post-game. This content is thank you, Jim. That's nice of you, brother. We thank you. We appreciate everybody who hops on here, man. Without you guys, we can't do this. So, and we love doing this. Hopefully, one of these days. Paul already does this as a job. Maybe one of these days I'll be able to as well. We'll see.
Jacob Yoho.
They said steak for dinner tomorrow. LOL. Is there a joke in there somewhere, or is that just him saying he's having steak tomorrow?
Oh yeah, it's him saying he's having steak tomorrow, man.
Thank you for the super
Jacob
chat,
on.
man.
He jumped on with me during a live one time. I had the link in the description box.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good guy. He's very matter of fact when it comes across. So I believe he probably means he's having steak for dinner. That's how he came across to me, anyway.
Yeah. Hey, I tell you what, Jacob, if you can figure out a way to get that steak here to Southern West Virginia, brother, send it on my way. And I like it medium well.
Yeah.
Earth Ether, thank you, man. We appreciate you. We appreciate John Kelly. We appreciate everybody in here. I wish I could go down each name, but I don't think I ended up missing somebody, upsetting somebody. But we appreciate all the support. 95 people, man. This is one of our better live streams I think we've had as far as number of people. So we appreciate you. Paul, anything else you want to touch on before we jump off? Man?
Yeah, one other thing I want to talk about. I don't know how much it's really been touched on exactly, but from our standpoint, but I do think this was much needed for the kids, and I really am happy for the kids in this situation. They fought so hard and really gave up so much, 9 games, 10 games of the season to be a part of this season. And the way it's gone since they got here, I don't think anybody expected it to be that way. I was talking about Noah and RaeQuan. So I'm glad to see them get this W. And let's just hope and pray that it propels them on to greater heights this year and really do something that no team has done since Georgia that I can remember and make the tournament after starting out so deep in the hole. So I'm going to continue to root and hop up and down and scream and holler for him, and hopefully that works because I think they deserve it.
Absolutely, man. Very, very well said. This team, listen, I'll always cheer for every Mountaineer team every year. If they got West Virginia across their chest, I'm cheering for them. But, man, this team right here this year deserves it maybe more than any team that I can in recent memory because they've been through so much, man. And they continue to – RaeQuan and Noah could have said, you know what, this season's a bust. We don't want to play. Let's just wait till next year. But they didn't, man, because they want to be out there with their guys, with their teammates, you know. And I think and for us too, the fans, they're giving us something to cheer for every game, you know. Even though the record is not good, they're playing hard. They're giving it their all. We've got some talented guys on this roster. That, you know, I'm sure they knew how much it meant to us for them to be out there because they saw it all over social media. So it's almost impossible not to root for these guys, man. And it would be a really, really cool story if they can pull this thing together and end up making the tournament. I mean, it would be one of the best stories in sports, in my opinion. It's a long shot. It's a very long shot, man, but long shots happen all the time in sports. They happen all the time. So
before we go, can we look at the record the next 4 or 5 games and just see, or the schedule, I'm sorry, to see what we got coming up? I'd be lying to you if I didn't say I wasn't looking any more than 1 game ahead.
Yeah, I've been the same exactly.
The way things have been going, it's just normally I get ahead of myself, but not with this team.
We go to number 9 Oklahoma on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Then we turn around and come home on Saturday to play number 3 Kansas. Golly. Then they go to UCF.
This is going to be a brutal stretch.
Then they go to UCF on the 23rd, which is a Tuesday night. Then they go to Oklahoma State the following Saturday, and then they come back home on the 31st to host Cincinnati. That rounds out the month of January. So Oklahoma, Kansas, UCF, Oklahoma State. Now, theoretically, they could very, very likely. I don't want to say likely. They could very well win at least 3 of those games.
Yeah,
they could beat
exactly
UCF, Oklahoma State, and Cincinnati. Now, Cincinnati's
right,
good. They're good, but they're beatable. Oklahoma and Kansas are obviously going to be tough, and long shots probably, especially the one at Oklahoma. But you know what? In this, we saw UCF beat Kansas the other night. This league has proven already 3 or 4 games in that anybody can beat anybody. So I'm not counting them out, man. I'm not counting them out. I think they got a shot to beat anybody if they can play their A game, especially once we get Jesse back, which Coach Eilert said he's not going to be back by the Kansas game for sure. Like they were originally hoping. But
right,
if Pat can keep playing the way he's playing, I think they can win some of these games, man. I really do.
PA Mountaineer, I just wanted to read your comment. He said, I'm a diehard Penn State fan. Moved to Morgantown, West Virginia for a job at the university. West Virginia University is my second favorite team for football. And I'm a diehard WVU basketball fan. Hail WVU. So
awesome.
Thank you for being part of this channel, man. These are the kind of stories I like to hear as a content creator. These are little things that let us connect with you. So appreciate that. And no, I don't really admire you first game of next year, you know.
In football.
I would imagine you guys, I would imagine you guys are at least a little bit worried about the West Virginia team that's coming up next year rather than this past year because that team wasn't ready yet. 11 games later, they were.
Funny story, kind of, since he's from Pennsylvania, a Penn State fan, I actually met a Penn State fan at a West Virginia tailgate this year. They're from the Philly area. Their daughter attends West Virginia, but their whole family's Penn State fans. But they come to most of the West Virginia games. Super nice people, man. Absolutely nice. Some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. They hung out and tailgated with us before one of the West Virginia games this year. I think it was the Texas Tech game, actually. And we just had a great time with them. They and that evening after the game, they had their phone out watching the Penn State game on their phone. And I'm like, man, they're a diehard just like we are. They had their blue and gold on though, and they had their blue and gold West Virginia shirt with a Penn State hat. So they were supporting both teams. So I thought that was pretty cool.
There's probably quite a few West Virginia Pitt fans that are also Penn State fans in some form or another way, you know.
Yeah.
It's just all so close together, and Penn State's been so successful. You know, there are people that are just they'll root for whoever's close and successful.
Mm-hmm.
I know some West Virginia fans that also rooted for Marshall at times, you know, back in the 90s especially.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, anything else, brother?
No, I appreciate you guys for coming on. Appreciate the support as always. If you're not subscribed, by the way, we got 83 people in here. If any one of you guys ain't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, please.
John, I do think Oklahoma's definitely beatable, but it's going to be a tough task, but it's doable. Absolutely is, man. But yeah, guys, we thank you for hopping in here tonight. For the handful of people who may have saw us on X or on Twitter, whatever you want to call it. For those of you, if you saw us on Twitter or are watching us on Twitter, be sure to come over to our YouTube channel and subscribe, please, and let your friends, neighbors, family know about Hoops from the Hills. A lot of people still don't know we're here. Most people know us from our football channels, Couz's Corner and Mountaineer Paul Talks Football, but we'd like to have all those people over here as well. So we thank you guys. If you're watching us on the replay, still like, still comment, it still helps. You don't have to be watching live to do all that stuff. And we got a super chat coming in last minute from Jenny Talkington from Civil Mark. He never misses a show. Thank you, Jenny. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Jenny. Really
thank you for the super chat.
That's a cool last name.
And are you kin to Teddy Talkington, who played basketball at West Virginia, by the way? I've got to ask. And I'll hang out for here for a second to let you answer that. Thank you, John, for that comment, brother. We'll give Jenny a few more seconds. Hopefully she heard my question. If not, we'll go ahead and – but that – thank you so much for the super chat. You are related.
Yes.
I figured. Awesome.
I'd be kind of surprised if they what?
Yeah, with that – like there can't be that many Talkingtons, right? It can't be a very common
Right.
name, I wouldn't think.
No. It's almost like
third cousin.
It's almost a surprise that it is the last name. To be honest, you know, Talkington. That's just it's just a very unusual last name.
He should be a content creator.
There's no doubt.
Yeah, Jenny, you should be a concrete creator. You already have the last name for it.
Yeah.
Cheesy joke. I'm sorry. All right. I'm not a very good joke teller. My jokes are true dad jokes, man. I'm telling you, they're as corny as they get. All right. Well, thank you guys for hopping on here. We're going to call it a night. Go. If you're a beer drinker, crack open a beer. If you're Jacob, go cook you a steak. Whatever you do to celebrate, let's go celebrate this Mountaineer win. And we got to throw horns down. Let's go Mountaineers.
Horns down, Mountaineers up. That's the way I like to end.
We're done, guys.